from there, how did you end up joining Suicidal Tendencies?
So Suicidal, I've been in the band for like, let's see, three years now. But so Mike he's kind of been like hearing about my playing and stuff, and like I've done some fill-in shows too. Like with Suicidal, I did like one fill-in show when their bass player couldn't do it because of a visa issue.
Okay.
So I went up on stage and did that one show. So I had done some stuff in the past with Mike, and I did like Infectious Grooves, like came up on stage with my dad and like with Mike and everybody. We kind of did that. So like I kind of had that like past experience playing with Infectious and Suicidal and stuff, and then after like it's kind of coming out of the pandemic era, and like their funny thing is their old bass player, he plays in Korn now, so he joined Korn, and then Mike was looking for a bass player and stuff to like start playing shows with him again. So that's when he reached out, and I was like, yeah, sure. And I was still in high school at the time, so it was like one of my last years of high school. But I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Were you taking a bunch of time off from high school and stuff to go on tour? Or did you just kind of have opportunities that you just want, like whether being with Metallica or going on tour with Suicidal?
Well, so like with Suicidal, so like especially with them, I was like, I did like a homeschool thing, so it was like a remote kind of thing.
It's
it was
probably
like,
easy as shit to do that these days with so many people doing all that.
Yeah, it was like pretty easy to do, and like with the schedule, I mean, it was still hard work and stuff, but like it worked with touring and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
What like how big of shows are Suicidal Tendencies playing at this point? They're playing like big festivals and stuff mostly, or do they do like smaller venue tours as well?
Yeah, we do a little bit of everything. I would say like we do like big shows, like festival shows, and then we do like small intimate gigs too.
Right.
Kind of. So
nice.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is it a different crowd from your perspective to the other bands you play with and stuff like that? Because they have, a different flavor, whether it's like a little bit more street, a little bit more hip hop fused. Like, does it bring out a different audience?
Yeah, it does. Like, there's a lot of youth actually at the Suicidal shows, which is really cool to see. Like, a lot of parents bringing their kids and stuff, and like even like some people around my age, like moshing and stuff. So it's definitely like the intimate crowd. Like, it's more of a intimate crowd when like there's like those shows like in the clubs and stuff, whereas like they're kind of the hardcore fans, and then at the festival shows it could be like any fans or multiple bands and stuff.
I mean, I'm just thinking of this now, so pardon me if this has been addressed previously, but are you able to just write the band's name on social media, or do you have to like censor it? Because I personally probably wouldn't want to use the word suicidal in an Instagram caption, just because I know the AI is not taking any prisoners.
Yeah, I mean, you can. There's been times where the Instagram has gotten taken down like multiple times.
I believe it,
and it's like stressful for, especially, for Mike and everybody. It's like, because it's like we'll be doing like a festival gig, and all of a sudden the Instagram will get taken down.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we can't even promote the show. Or we'll be doing a club gig where it's like we can't even promote the show. And it's like always, it is annoying sometimes, because it's like we want to promote the show, want people to come out.
Right. Yeah, because even when I went to go look at the Suicidal Tendencies Instagram, I typed in the word suicidal, and then nothing pops up. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, right, obviously.
Yeah.
That's like one of the main things that they're not going to let you look up on there. But also, if a band were to come to me in 2025 and say like, yo, this is our band name, I would be like, you need to change that band name, because realistically, there's going to be a lot of shit getting in the way of you keeping that account online. But I guess at this point, they're way too deep.
Yeah. For real.
But okay, so from my perspective, when I was looking up Suicidal Tendencies interviews and stuff, and there's not that many, and I was kind of surprised, because I feel like these days every band, everything has just like been over interviewed to the point of just ridiculousness. But I'm surprised that like it seems like they kind of have gone out of their way to not do too much media. Is that the case? You know what the strategy is with all that?
Yeah, I don't know. So like, I mean, Mike does interviews and stuff. I'll see him doing a lot of stuff at festivals and stuff.
Oh, okay.
At the shows and stuff.
I might have just missed it, but
yeah, I'm not so sure about how often like press is done outside of that. But yeah, that's as far as I would know, I think.
Because I feel like Suicidal Tendencies is like one band that should have more relevance in hip hop and in the overall sort of like urban community than it does. Like if the fans of like my podcast and shit knew that there was this band that was been around since the 80s that was like from this world that like, you know, really kind of like pushed a lot of like hip hop or urban culture into like the metal scene and stuff, I feel like they would kind of relate to that and think it was dope. I just don't think it's necessarily been like served up to them in a way where it's like easy for them to understand. So I feel like that's one interview that I think would be truly epic, because I feel like there's got to be an insane story that I'm not even really super familiar with.
Yeah, no, totally. I think it would be it'd be rad to have like Mike come do an interview. For this, because he has like a lot of cool things, a lot of like a cool point of view. That I think a lot of other like musicians and people like should hear. I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just everything. Even if you hadn't heard the band, just looking at the graphic design and what the album covers look like and shit, it's just like super clear to me. Like, oh, there's a lot of people in my channel's orbit that need to be exposed to the legacy of this shit, because it was very progressive at the time in terms of just sort of mixing street culture and metal together in a way that wasn't corny or cheesy. Because it's like that's way before new metal kind of like takes over the world.
Right. Totally. Yeah. It was like kind of the very beginning of that kind of thing, which was cool. Like that. And then after that, it was like, I don't know if it was like right after, but like the hardcore bands kind of came in with that and took that. That's what I really like about that like culture, is mixing like kind of the multiple different styles into one.
Yeah, it's crazy for me to see too, because like my main years of like listening to hardcore metal were like late 90s, early 2000s, and at that time it's like before the internet had truly taken over, so you kind of have all these different genres of rock and metal that are sort of like not with each other at all, and then you fast forward 5, 6, 7 years or whatever, and all of a sudden like every flyer I see for a festival has like, you know, fucking Hatebreed and Metallica and all these other bands that like normally would just not really overlap at all, and they're just like all on the same bills and stuff like that, because they realize that collaboration or at least being on the same bills is going to bring in more fans. And realistically, like metal and hardcore and shit is just not, it's not so huge at this point that they can afford to be at war with each other. They need to work together. Like if rock music is going to survive, it's probably going to be through sharing fans and like, you know, allowing them to sort of feed off each other, especially live and shit like that.